Hey guys, this is Sliver Maniac and I'm today going to drop my Joey Wheeler Virtual World deck profile. Now, what can I say about Joey Wheeler and this segment of the series? Well, most of all, he tried to support and protect, of course, his companions as well. He's tried to defend his own body and life in general. And I think you might say that way he was pretty mad by the fact that he was involved in that kind of family situation of sort of kaiba, as you might interpret it, due to one or many of his comments during the recent arc. In many episodes it is states, or it has been seen, that he was pretty pissed about it, so you can, as a result of that, conclude that he was unhappy being there. And also his sister Serenity was being involved also in this matter. He was very unhappy with it. To make a long story short, it was, of course, and you have to add that fact, basically, an arc where he also did remember his friend my Valentine a couple of times, as she was in Battle City arc, which was not yet fully completed, already sent to the Shadow Realm from Yamimeric due to their earlier confrontation an issue of the duel. And so he paid a little bit of tribute to her and adding some of her cards in his deck. Now, this deck of him is very complicated to be fully completed. I'm very aware of the fact that he mainly, you cannot reach the sheer number of 40 cards, so I have put some of his cards which he also had in the, or were shown in the Battle City saga, also in this deck. So now onto his monsters. We have, first of all, the Sword Hunter, a card which he first introduced in this era. And he of course, I don't know in which specific duel it might be. Maybe it was even his first. As he had just, I think, two duels in the whole arc. I think he played this one out against the lawyer of the Big Five, Johnson. Yeah. Then one of the cards which I put in there, as you cannot reach the 40 card minimum limit due to the cards which were shown by him in the arc. I put, of course, Legendary Fisher and Man in there, which of course he has normally in his deck. Another card which was indeed played out was Jinso against the Big Five, as well as Panther Warrior. Also, I think maybe this one was even engaged into the battle in all the both of the duels. Then of course Rocket Warrior, and we have it right here. Rocket Warrior, of course, one of his main monsters, which has a very handy effect. He took, I think, this one especially into the battle with Johnson as well. As well as I think Hayabusa Knight, he played out there. Then further on, one of his very epic, and then in the future shown in developed form monsters is of course Gifford the Iron Knight. Then a card which he, I think, possessed the first time in his deck was Goblin Attack Force. As he didn't play it out in the Battle City arc, he might introduce it into that very specific era. As well as I already mentioned, he paid tribute to My Valentine and put one or the favorite monster card of her into this deck, which is Cyber Harpier. Little Wingard, one of his other basic monsters, as well as the Swordman of Landstar, which he always combines with the Graceful and the Skull Dice, and the Slate Warrior. Then, of course, another of his basic monsters, which he always combines with another card, which not was shown in this arc, but I put it in there as we might not reach 40 cards otherwise, was Baby Dragon, which was play out in this arc, but Time Wizard, I'm sure about that, wasn't. So you might imagine that this card was indeed in his deck, but wasn't played out. X-Raider he did play out, but I'm not sure on which duel. Alligator Sword, I think he engaged into the battle with Yugi against the Big Five. Then I put also in there, to complete the 40 card minimum limit which is required, Masagi the Legendary Swordsman and the Flame Manipulator, as you need these two in order to fusion summon the Flame Swordsman, which was used as a deck master, of course, from him, and Axe Tiger. So, these were his monster cards. Now onto his spell cards. That I think there were one, or I think even two, anime exclusive spell cards which were introduced, but they did not come out until now, into the TCG, so I went further and recalled which other cards might kinda change, you can change into the deck instead of this one, or it works similar if played out. Of course, I put in there what was a staple card in this arc with many players was Double Snare. And then Polymerization, of course, for the fusion summon of Flame Swordsman. Harpius Feather Duster as a tribute to My Valentine. Then Graceful Dice, of course, for his for the increasing of the attack stats of his monsters. Pot of Greed as a staple. Then he had another anime exclusive card, which I think was called Legendary Burning Sword or something like that. But I took then Salamandra instead, as you have this one in the TCG and the other you do not have. Then Scapegoats, Goats, which he of course always has as a defensive measure. He played this one out against Johnson. And I think Shield and Sword he also engaged in the battle, so he possessed it in this deck. I don't know which battle especially. And another staple to fill up the deck was Monster Reborn and Giant Trunade, and Now 2 cards. Oh, a block attack, of course, which I don't know against who he played that one out. And 2 cards which try to complete the combination of the card, or to kinda try to mime the effect of the other card, which is enemy exclusive, namely Artist Decision. You can special summon a monster. You have to choose from 3 cards. If in your hand, your opponent has to choose 1 card from 3 cards in your hand. One is a monster card and the other ones are not. If you choose the monster, then you can special summon it. If you choose one of the others, then all of 3 of them are discarded to the graveyard. So I put in there, instead of it, Question, which works with the question as well, as the card name says already, but from the graveyard. And the Chosen One, the Chosen One, which works very similar with 1 card and 2 cards in the hand. So yeah, it's I think very similar to that effect. But I thought, in order to fill the deck up, you can also put this one in there. So yeah, I did it. And these onto his spells. Now onto his traps, which I think there were 1 or 2 new ones introduced into this specific arc. One of them was Gamble, which he just used in this saga. You can toss a coin, and then if you, I think, toss specific numbers, then you can draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, which was manipulated by the lawyer Johnson, who used his manipulating techniques from Noah Kaiba in order to make a bad coin toss for Joey, so that he might lose a little bit faster. As well as Silver Dollar, it was called. I think the artwork was similar, and I don't know about the effect, whether it was... No, the effect was like protecting a monster if you toss the coin right, but here it's like that if you, I think, have an effect monster, you can draw 1 card if you call it right. Then of course Kunai with Jane, as well as Fairy Box. And one of the cards that I just mentioned, which was also introduced new into that arc, was Bottomless Trapper, which he just used that 1 time. Skull Dice in combination with Graceful Dice, of course. And last but not least, I put in there, which he did not play it out in that arc, but as a staple and in order to fill up the deck, was Grave Robber. Now, guys, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like and the subscribe button, and yeah, stay tuned for more content, as I will be going up with the character deck profiles. I try to do one each daily if I can, if I have the time to. And yeah, then we will slowly but remorselessly get onto the antagonists. Not yet, but yeah, there will be a very special players on the side from the companions, which have just few times were involved into duels, like Tia Gardner and Serenity Wheeler, which I think you can just see her 1 time dueling her in 1 arc, which is this one. So it's very special that even new people get to know the game and showing their decks. This is a very special arc in that term. So yeah, to make a long story short, I think I hope you guys have a good night and sleep well. You're a Slifer Maniac.